Game-worn memorabilia has long been one of the most romanticized aspects of sports card collecting. The idea of owning a small piece of a jersey that once saw live game action connected collectors directly to the gridiron. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, relic cards were hobby headliners. Tops and Upper Deck flooded products with authentic, game-worn swatches, and collectors grew accustomed to pulling pieces of jerseys that had truly been on the field. But in today's landscape, dominated by Panini, true game-worn relics in football have become nearly extinct. Most cards are labeled as player-worn, or increasingly, not associated with any specific game, event, or player. The shift is rooted in supply chain restrictions, equipment management practices, and changing collector demand, with football presenting unique challenges compared to other sports like baseball and basketball. In earlier eras, companies like Upper Deck and Topps had more direct access to NFL game-used jerseys. Upper Deck's game-used jersey inserts in the late 1990s were revolutionary. Fans could pull swatches of Joe Montana or Jerry Rice jerseys that had been authenticated as worn in actual games. Even into the 2000s, Topps produced sets like Topps Pristine and Topps Finest with a steady flow of authenticated game-worn relics. Panini, however, entered the exclusive NFL license era under much stricter league control. The NFL's partnership with Fanatics created a bottleneck, with most game-used gear redirected to auctions, fan shops, or kept under lock and key by teams in the league itself. By the 2010s, Panini simply couldn't access the volume of authentic jerseys that Upper Deck once had. Without supply, they leaned heavily on event-worn and later, unassociated relics. Football's structural realities make jerseys far scarcer than in other sports. Baseball players cycle through 162 games per year, with new jerseys constantly hitting the market. NBA players suit up for 82 games, and uniforms are frequently swapped, sold, or archived. In contrast, NFL players have just 17 regular season games, plus playoffs for the lucky few. That's 1/10 the opportunity to source usable jerseys compared to baseball. And NFL jerseys endure punishing physical use. Mud, turf burns, sweat, and heavy contact. A single football jersey may only survive 1 or 2 games before it's retired. This limits both the number of jerseys available and their condition for cutting into swatches. For example, during Upper Deck's heyday, you might pull a relic of Brett Favre or Peyton Manning that explicitly stated game worn. Today, a relic of Patrick Mahomes from Panini is almost certainly player worn or simply not associated, reflecting the steep decline in available material. The shortage is compounded by how NFL equipment staff handle uniforms. Each player is issued only a handful of jerseys for the season, and equipment crews tightly control their usage. Jerseys must be washed, repaired, and rotated on a strict schedule due to short turnarounds between games and frequent travel. Unlike baseball and basketball, where equipment is plentiful and turnover is high, NFL teams guard uniforms like inventory. Very few escape into the open market. On top of that, the culture of jersey swapping between players has exploded. After nearly every game, you'll see players trading uniforms as tokens of respect. Those jerseys go straight into their personal collections rather than auctions or memorabilia pipelines. Players also keep milestone jerseys. Tom Brady famously retained many of his record-breaking game jerseys for his personal archive. These items never reach Panini, further reducing the pool of available material. Because authentic game jerseys are so difficult to obtain, Panini turned to event-worn material. For years, rookies attended the NFL Rookie Premiere, where they briefly donned jerseys for photo shoots. These jerseys were cut into relics labeled player-worn, which, while not game-used, still carried at least some connection to the athlete. But recently, Panini has taken another step down. Increasingly, relics are marked as not associated with any specific game, player, or event. In plain terms, this often means Panini is buying generic retail jerseys. essentially off-the-rack items from stores like Dick's Sporting Goods or Fanatics outlets, and cutting them up for cards. These swatches are decorative fabric with no tie whatsoever to the player pictured. For example, a relic card of Justin Jefferson from a mid-tier product today may simply contain fabric from a store-bought Vikings jersey, rather than one Jefferson ever touched. This erosion of authenticity has been jarring for collectors who remember the game-worn era of Topps and Upper Deck. The financial side reinforces this trend. One NFL jersey might yield only a few hundred attractive patches, far too few to support Panini's sprawling product lineup. By contrast, off-the-shelf jerseys or event-worn items can be sourced cheaply in large quantities, ensuring Panini can fill thousands of relic slots across dozens of brands each season. For Panini, the math is simple. It is far easier and more profitable to produce unassociated relics than to fight for scarce, expensive, game-used gear. When relic cards first appeared in the late 1990s and early 2000s, they were groundbreaking. Pulling a jersey card of Brett Favre, Jerry Rice, or LaDainian Tomlinson felt like striking gold. Relics were often the hit of the box, commanding strong secondary market prices and cementing their place as hobby headliners. But over the past decade, the market has dramatically shifted, and influencers have played a central role in that transformation. Modern collectors, especially those brought in during the 2020 boom, are conditioned to chase case hits, low-numbered parallels, and RPAs. Influencers on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok highlight products like Prism, Select, and Optic, where the main chase is a rare parallel, a gold number to 10, a black finite 101, or an ultra-short print insert like Downtown, Kaboom, or Color Blast. In live breaks and box opening videos, influencers hype these parallels as the true lottery tickets, with dramatic reactions when one is pulled. By contrast, a relic, even with a 3-color patch, rarely sparks the same excitement. The social media spectacle has tilted collector attention away from relics and towards shiny, numbered cards that can be instantly graded and flipped. For example, a 2020 Prism Gold Justin Herbert rookie number to 10 can light up social media feeds and sell for 5 figures. Meanwhile, a National Treasures Herbert player-worn relic, even with an eye-catching patch, might sell for a fraction of that unless paired with an autograph. Autographs have also eclipsed relics in perceived value. Panini's rookie patch autos, or RPAs, and National Treasures and Flawless are still Grail-level chases, but in most cases, the autograph is the centerpiece while the relic is treated as a visual flair. Influencers and major breakers reinforce this narrative, routinely emphasizing the signature and serial number over whether the swatch is authentic or game-used. This influencer-driven emphasis has rebranded relics in the eyes of many collectors. Instead of being the star of the box, relics are now often seen as filler hits, something to tide you over until the real chase appears. Even premium relics that are game-worn don't generate the same level of excitement and breaks as a low-numbered parallel or short print insert. The rise of grading companies has furthered this divide as well. A PSA 10 parallel offers immediate liquidity and a clear market price. A relic card, especially one with ambiguous authenticity language, is harder to grade, harder to move, and less aligned with the hype economy driving today's hobby. This cultural transformation explains why Panini hasn't fought harder to prioritize authentic game-worn material in football products. Collectors, particularly those influenced by breakers and social media personalities, simply aren't demanding relics with the same urgency as in past decades. Instead, they demand scarcity, numbering, and recognizable case hits that can trend online. In short, relics have gone from being the hit to being an afterthought. The chase has moved elsewhere, and Panini has adjusted its product to reflect that reality. This all makes football stand apart from basketball and baseball. In NBA products, veteran relics are still typically game-worn, with only rookies defaulting to event-worn or non-associated relics. In baseball, with its enormous 162-game schedule, Uniforms were plentiful and easily cycled through to the memorabilia market. Collectors can still find authentic relics in Topps Flagship, Heritage, or even Allen and Ginter. Football, however, suffers from a perfect storm. Fewer games, heavily used jerseys, stricter equipment control, player jersey swaps, and a manufacturer that increasingly substitutes retail fabric for authentic relics. For modern NFL collectors, relic cards are no longer the guaranteed slice of the game they once were. Under Panini, most relics are event-worn or unassociated fabric, with only the rarest of instances being in National Treasures, Flawless, or Immaculate, offering true game-used swatches. And even then, it's of mostly retired legends. This is a dramatic shift from the days when Upper Deck and Topps filled packs with authentic jerseys from the stars of the day. Back then, a collector pulling a Peyton Manning or LaDainian Tomlinson relic could reasonably assume the fabric had seen the field. Today, pulling a Trevor Lawrence or Justin Jefferson relic more often means holding a piece of polyester from a store-bought jersey. The romance of game-worn NFL relics has not died, but it has become increasingly rare, reserved for the highest-end products and players of the past. For collectors, understanding this shift is crucial to appreciating what's inside a modern relic card, and why football memorabilia simply doesn't flow into the hobby the way it once did.